All right, so first I want to thank everyone for giving us this opportunity to share more about ARUtility. And ARUtility is an augmented reality, utility locating, asset management, and BIM visualization tool that aims to increase safety, decrease damages to utilities, and increase efficiency in the workforce. And we achieve this through our collaborative platform and utilizing innovative new technologies such as augmented reality. Let's first take a look at how things are being done today. We've probably all seen something similar to the picture in the bottom left. In Michigan and other states and countries, it is law to call the one-call system prior to digging. The problem with the process now is that it's very inefficient and costly. Depending on the size of the project, the locating can take anywhere from a couple of hours to over a week for large projects. On average, utilities that reported to the Common Ground Alliance were seeing around 900 of these requests per year. At an average cost of $600 per request, you can see that the average yearly cost to locate is in the range of over $500,000. The entire process is very time consuming and labor intensive. Now imagine being able to go out into the field with a tablet or smartphone and being able to visualize where these assets are located, almost as if you can see through the ground. The digital markings never get removed, and everything is automatically displayed at its location in the real world. No more measurements from 2D maps, and no more redoing marks that were removed from rain or construction. And that is ARUtility, which we'll get into in a little more detail in just a moment. Let's also look at how asset management is being tackled today. Almost every utility is using a geographic information system, or GIS, of some sorts, and most commonly that's hosted on the Esri platform. However, many utilities are also still using paper to get information from the field back to the office to then get entered into the GIS system, whether that's through paper hand drawings or paper work orders. Not only is this inefficient, but it's prone to errors as things get translated multiple times before making it to the hands of the GIS administrator. Once again, it's a very inefficient process and labor intensive. Another large problem the industry is experiencing is damages to assets during construction. Year over year, damages are increasing and cost direct stakeholders over $1.5 billion. There are other indirect costs that are hard to put a value on, such as a loss of customer confidence and the time spent dealing with regulatory red tape that results from these damages. Think about boil water notices and evacuations. However, looking at the direct costs, we found that the average damage incident costs about $4,000, but can go above $100,000 to even $150,000, depending on a number of factors. So why are we having all of these difficulties? Well, we believe that it is because we are relying on old ways of doing things and old technologies. For example, we are still stuck in 2 dimensions on our tablets and computers, and this creates inefficiencies and is not as intuitive as viewing assets in 3D. By nature, we're very visual creatures, and presenting information in AR has been shown to result in retention of information as high as 75%, whereas traditional methods show retention rates between only 5 and 10%. And additionally, we are still relying on old paper plans, and we lack tools that allow utilities to collaborate and efficiently and easily share asset information with those individuals that are performing excavation and locating functions. And ARUtility was created to solve these problems. The ARUtility solution is made up of both a web application and a mobile application. The web application is our collaborative platform, similar to a one-call system, but much better. Utilities, contractors, homeowners, engineers, or anyone can create an account on our platform that allows them to create projects. Utilities in the community receive requests that they can quickly approve with one click. And this captures the utility's asset information on that project and shares it with the user. Our platform eliminates the old inefficient way of doing things and allows utilities to approve sharing of information with one click. Lastly, once the requester is ready to start design or construction, they can move to the field and load the information in the ARUtility mobile app and visualize these same assets in augmented reality, which we're going to explain in just another moment. And we're going to dive into this project workflow in a little more detail in just a moment as well. But first, I think it's important to talk about what exactly is augmented reality. And augmented reality is actually a pretty easy concept. Essentially, we're taking the live camera feed on a device, whether that's a cell phone or tablet or Android or iOS based, and we're overlaying the camera feed with digital information in 3D. So it appears as though the 3D assets are located in their actual physical locations in the world. Some examples you may have seen are Pokemon Go, or a great example is the line of scrimmage and first down line in football. Those lines don't actually exist on the field, but they're placed there using augmented reality technology. So you're augmenting the real world or reality with digital information. So what are the benefits and return on investment from using our solutions? By being able to visualize assets in a more intuitive way through augmented reality, we can achieve a number of benefits. First is an increase in safety by maintaining a constant visual of where assets are located at all times. Users can also see a significant increase in efficiency and decrease in costs through the use of our collaboration platform, our record drawing functionality, ability to update assets on the fly, and our remote assistance tool. So we kind of touched on a couple of these points, but I wanted to dive into each a little bit deeper. We touched on the ability to reduce damages to underground assets. So what benefit does that provide you? Well, we talked about the costs associated with those damages being over 1.5 billion every year. But what about safety? And I think we can probably all agree that striking an underground asset of any kind can have a significant impact on safety. The digital markings in the augmented reality view are not affected by inclement weather or construction activities. And additionally, you can stay on the safety of the sidewalk and visualize all of the assets around you and stay out of traffic. You also have the ability to quickly pull up attribute information for any asset in augmented reality. In the picture on the left, you can see the water main was selected, which is signified by the color being turned red. Selecting the attribute button quickly pulls up the information for that asset. And what's great about this is that it's, once again, more intuitive. You can see exactly which asset you're selecting, and it's easier to understand and consume that information in augmented reality. We also recently just launched our BIM visualization tool. And what this allows you to do is visualize 3D models in the real world at a one-to-one scale. So you can imagine a new construction project, whether that's a new power plant, a new substation, a new hospital, whatever the case may be. You now have the ability to go out in the field and visualize new construction before ever breaking ground. And there are a number of benefits to this. You can identify conflicts with the utilities that are located on the site and make more informed design decisions. You can also see how the new construction will look once it's finished. How will it change the skyline, or how will it fit in with the neighboring buildings? And you can also lay out proposed utilities and determine the best route for, say, a new water service or a new location for the new transformer, whatever the case may be. And we did not include this in the demo video at the end, but we do have other videos available showing this functionality that we're more than happy to share. Another great tool built into the solution is the ability to take augmented reality measurements. So no more needing to pull out the old rusty measuring wheel. Right from the application, you can simply point your device at a real world location and grab single line, polyline, or area measurements. And again, this can all be done from the safety of the sidewalk. Additionally, you can save a screenshot with one simple click that you can then attach to a work order or save for future reference, whether that's to document the size of a road patch or the length of curb to be replaced or more. And this eliminates the need for a 2D hand sketch of replacement quantities, and this increases efficiency and more clearly communicates the work that was performed. Another great benefit of ARUtility is the ability to perform record drawings and update existing assets. So no more hand sketches that need to be translated and drawn into GIS. You simply point the device at the real world location of the asset and draw in pipes or lines and place point features and more. And when you're done for the day, you can save your edits and return the next day or anytime later to finish drawing in the new assets. And once complete, you can submit them for review in the web application. The same goes for updating existing assets. So users can quickly and easily update existing asset information on the fly. We've also included a remote assistance functionality into our application that allows field crews to share their screen with a remote user. And this allows the two users to communicate via video and voice and see exactly what the field crews are seeing. Additionally, we've included some augmented reality tools that allow users to draw on the screen and leave notes and markings that stick in the real world. And this tool allows you to increase efficiencies and reduce truck rolls and more clearly and effectively communicate answers to the field without requiring a site visit. And last but definitely not least is our collaboration platform. Our solution was built around the idea of collaboration from the start. And there really currently exists no good application on the market that allows utilities to collaborate with one another, as well as allowing utilities to collaborate with contractors, locators, and homeowners. And similar to a one-call system, our application allows users to create a project by simply drawing a boundary around the project location and entering some basic information. A request then goes out to all of the utilities that have assets within that project boundary, and they can approve with one simple click. We then capture the utilities' asset information from their GIS, but only the assets within that project boundary. And as utilities respond, the user that created the project can drill into that project and see who has approved or denied access to their information and visualize all of those assets for all of the utilities on one single map, as you can see in the image. We also allow you to share shape files that are automatically generated or attach other file types of your choosing to provide the requester with some additional information. And these shapefiles can be automatically imported into CAD, which significantly improves the design process. And once you're ready to start design or construction or locating, you can then go out into the field with our mobile app and visualize all of these assets in augmented reality and increase safety, efficiency, and make more informed design decisions throughout the entire project lifecycle. And lastly, we've also got a community map that shows you all of the projects within your service territory that are currently active, allowing you to stay up to date on all of the work going on within your system. So I'll walk through that project workflow next. To start, you would simply visit our web application and create a project on our project creation page. You simply draw a boundary around the project location and enter some basic information. And then we search for any utilities that have assets within that project boundary. And if they do, we send them a request as signified in the diagram. You can see requests going out to all of the different utility types. And those utilities can approve or deny your request with one click. And once approved, we capture their assets that are within that project boundary and save them to the web application until the project expires. You can then visit the web application and again, visualize all the utilities information within that project boundary on one single map. And those utilities can, again, also share files, drawings, and more if they choose. You can then go out into the field with our mobile application and visualize those same assets in augmented reality. So now we're gonna jump into the demo video. And there's a couple of things I'd like to go over before that. You'll notice a couple of things. First, you'll notice that there are dashed lines, and then there are the actual assets displayed below those dashed lines. The dashed lines you're going to see represent where the paint and flag marks would be if the utility were to come out and locate their assets. You'll notice that those dashed lines stick to their locations on the ground surface. The actual assets are then displayed at their depths below the ground surface. And sometimes we get the question, why are the pipes drifting when the user is walking around? And the assets actually aren't drifting, it's just that 3D perspective. And we're not really used to seeing through the ground, but if you could, this is exactly what it would look like. And when you point the crosshairs at an asset, you'll also notice white lines that appear to travel from the top of the pipe to the dashed line. And these are depth indicators. And this is just showing you which asset that dashed line is representing below the ground surface. And when the user walks directly over top of an asset, you'll notice that the dashed line lines up directly over top of the asset. So at that point, the user is directly over top of it. So with that said, I will go ahead and play the demo video. So the first thing that you're going to see is the user actually using the measuring tool. And again, users have the ability to take augmented reality measurements, and that can be single line, polyline, or area measurements as you're seeing in the video here. And the great thing here is you can actually save a screenshot of this measurement and attach that to a work order or save it for future reference. So once again, what you see here is the depth indicators, and when the crosshairs at the center of the screen point at any of the assets underground, you'll notice those depth indicators will pop up and show you which dashed line that asset is represented by. And that just shows you where that asset would be if it were sitting on the ground surface, just as if the utility were to come out and mark that asset with paint and flag marks. So what you're going to see here is also our ability to update existing assets. For example, this hydrant was actually relocated as part of this project. And it's as simple as just selecting any asset in augmented reality, selecting the move tool, and then walking over to its actual new location and simply hitting approve and placing that object in its new geographic location. And you can of course make updates to the attribute information at that same time. Now we have not just the ability to update existing assets, but you can also do record drawings and add new assets using augmented reality. In this example, you can see the hydrant was just moved to its new location, and we're actually going to draw in the new hydrant branch. So in this case, we're drawing in new water main. And we've included some tools very similar to like a CAD program that allows you to snap to existing assets. So here you can see we're using that snapping functionality to maintain that network connectivity. And once again, you'll notice that dashed blue line. Once it's directly over top of that pipe that we just drew in, you know that you're standing directly over top of that asset. before we end, I'd like to introduce you to the team behind ARUtility. And my name is Joe Eastman, and I'm the CEO of ARUtility. I have over 14 years of experience in the utility industry. I'm a registered professional engineer in the state of Michigan, and also hold an S1 license that allows me to run any water utility within the state of Michigan. Orlando Chappell is our Chief Operating Officer, and he has over 20 years of utility experience with an emphasis on managing electric, water, steam, and chilled water distribution systems. Orlando also has a number of years of experience as an electrical journey line worker, and he holds a Bachelor's of Science in Organizational Management. And he also holds an S1 license in the state of Michigan. Combined, we have over 30 years of experience in the industry that we are serving. But we've also got Larry and Gerald, who bring their expertise in intellectual property and licensing deals, as well as their financial and accounting expertise. So as you can see, our team has a wide range of skills. I'd like to take this moment to thank everyone again for your time and for allowing us to share more about ARUtility and how augmented reality can enhance your operations and increase safety and efficiency and decrease damages to your assets. And at this point, I'd like to open up the floor for any questions.